Now at 5, a major development for the family who lost their beloved 26-year-old daughter at the hands of an armed police raid. Why their lawyer believes they've made history.
I don't want my son to fail. I don't want any of the other kids to fail.
The challenges of e-learning and some of the pitfalls. Now this community is taking action. The changes parents want to see.
With possible USPS issues amid the pandemic, we know you want to make sure your vote counts. How you could be able to track your ballot and whether the process really works.
And talk about feeding the soul. Fridges popping up around Indianapolis, ready to take or give when someone's in need.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 5, streaming now.
Tonight, concerns over e-learning and the hybrid learning model in one local district. Some Franklin Township parents say their students are failing behind and they're not getting the instruction that they need.
WRTV's Megan Sanctorum spoke with them today as they held a rally outside the administration building.
Parents here today say they will continue to fight for their children until changes are made to the district's hybrid learning model.
We've had a very frustrating school year so far.
These are some of the parents calling for change at Franklin Township Community Schools.
I'm not mad at the teachers or the administration. I just want to figure out what we can do to fix this because somebody like my son's going to fall through the cracks.
Right now, students are on a hybrid learning schedule, meaning they're in the classroom half the week and at home on their laptops the other half. Many telling us those at-home days haven't been easy.
It's been tough, so we're really hoping to see some changes quickly.
Last week, we told you about a petition parents started calling for certain adjustments. They want to see more teacher interaction on e-learning days, a consistent method of communication so assignments and due dates are clear, and an adjusted workload. Many saying students are spending 10 or more hours each day on e-learning.
So we're really just seeking that time face-to-face with teachers or an instance of, I guess, Zoom calls, if you will. So we're really just seeking that time from the educators that our students are desperately needing.
Last week, district leaders said they would meet with parents individually to discuss any learning challenges their children are having. But that's not what this group today wants to see.
The reason that this petition was started was to get answers for the group as a whole. Of course, I would love to have a response just for my daughter, but we're looking to better the entire township and how everything is done for everyone.
I don't want my son to fail. I don't want any of the other kids to fail. And, they're the most important things we have.
Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, WRTV.
A spokesperson for the district declined for an interview, but tells us they have met with several families individually over the past few days, and they will use that information, the feedback that they received that has been invaluable, they say. They'll use that as they continue to review and find the best practices for e-learning.
There's this saying in news, notice what you notice. WRTV's Stephanie Wade was on the east side covering a story this week when she noticed a really cool e-learning effort happening in the community. Many families need help supervising their child's e-learning, especially if they work during the day or lack the internet and Wi-Fi capabilities to do virtual learning. An organization called the Mind Trust set up community learning sites across Indianapolis to help. This one here at the Reset Center on the Far East Side is working with students from not just one school, but 14 different schools. Students K through 8, all with various schedules, learning levels, and school requirements throughout the day. We'll have a full look inside this unique project later on the news at 6 on WRTV.
Every day we want to update you on the latest COVID-19 numbers in Indiana. The State Department of Health is reporting an additional 20 COVID-19 deaths today and 758 positive cases around the state. Those deaths were recorded between September 5th and yesterday. The past few days we saw a decrease from the jump to 1,200 cases a day, but Indiana is still seeing much higher daily case numbers than we were a few months ago.
And here's an inspiring grassroots initiative coming from right here in Indy. Love Fridge Indy is working to address food inequity in the Circle City. And you can help. The Community Refrigerator Collective secures donated fridges and puts them in an accessible place for people to either donate or take free food. Hoosier native Steph Gray brought the mission here from Chicago, where it sprang roots. The group hopes to have 10 fridges placed throughout Indianapolis by Thanksgiving. The first was placed on Shelby Street in Fountain Square over the weekend, right outside Southeast Community Services.
New information today in a case that's kept the attention of the nation. The city of Louisville plans to pay $12 million to the family of BREONNA Taylor to settle a wrongful death lawsuit. 26-year-old Taylor was killed in her home by police on March 13th when officers broke down the door to her apartment and shot her while executing a late-night no-knock warrant. Despite months of protests, none of the 3 officers involved in the flawed raid has been charged with a crime. BREONNA Taylor's death helped spark this summer's movement against police brutality and racism. Her family's lawyer says he believes the $12 million sum is the largest one ever paid out for a black person killed by police.
Here in Indianapolis, one housing complex on the northeast side is once again the site of a death by gun violence. Metro police officers say they found a man with a gunshot wound just before midnight at 42nd and Post Road. He died on the way to the hospital. Police say the man had been driven to the location from the Town and Terrace housing complex on Hampshire Court. 4 other deadly shootings have taken place at that complex since June. The latest one was the killing of Natasha Williams last month.
They have been learning at home the entire school year so far, but soon students in Washington Township will head back to the classroom, at least on a part-time basis. The Washington Township School Board approved a new plan to gradually bring students back inside school buildings starting next month. The school district was one of the first in the area to announce it would begin the year with all virtual learning due to the high rate of COVID-19 infections in that part of Marion County. Now, students in preschool through grade 2 will return October 12th, right after fall break. Those students will be in the classroom 5 days a week. Students in grades 3 through 12 will go back 1 week later, October 19th. Grades 3 through 5 will attend full-time, while middle and high school students will be on a hybrid schedule. The school district says students who wish to continue full-time virtual learning will be allowed to do so. The district will go back to virtual learning for all students if Marion County's positive COVID-19 test rate goes back up to 8% or higher.
Storm Team's Alyssa Donovan joins us, filling in for Kevin Gregory today. And Alyssa, the weather is just perfect outside.
Yeah, you know, it's been a beautiful day, but you can see on our sky cam that we've had a little bit of a white haze across Indiana throughout the day. Temperatures, though, have been very nice besides that haze. 76 right now in Indianapolis. It's 78 in Lafayette and 76 in Bloomington. And the reason we're seeing that haze is due to that wildfire smoke. So that's filtering in from those western wildfires out in California and Oregon. That's impacting us right now in Indianapolis, bringing us that little bit of a haze in the atmosphere. We're going to continue to see that tomorrow as well, but we'll warm up a little bit tomorrow. So temperatures will climb into the 80s, continuing to see a little bit of that smoke up in the sky. And then by Wednesday night into Thursday, a cold front will pass, pushing that smoke out and leaving us with some cooler weather as we head towards the weekend. Tomorrow, temperatures will be into the low 80s. Overnight tonight, it's going to be a cool one. Clear skies starting tomorrow in the 50s before we warm back up, and then we are back into the 70s on Thursday.
WRTV continues to work for you to get you answers on mail-in voting this year. This is a start how you can monitor your absentee ballot just like a mail delivery. Still ahead.
Plus, many helping hands can make the work seem smaller and less scary. How the Indianapolis Zoo has joined forces with zoos across the nation to help after Hurricane Laura. That's next on WRTV News at 5.
Right now on WRTV, there's been a haze in the Midwestern skies. Wildfires continue to rage on the West Coast.
And the air quality there is a massive concern right now. The death toll from the fires is growing, and so are the fires themselves. The smoke is reaching the East Coast according to a NASA model. At least 27 people have died as a result of these fires. New satellite images show the sheer size with massive plumes of smoke on the California coast. Oregon's governor is urging the president to declare disaster areas. This, as officials there say, in Portland, Oregon, no one should be outside unless they absolutely have to be. Christy. Portland is the city that sits at the #1 for worst air quality in the world right now.
And we have an update today on the Indianapolis Zoo horticulture team that headed to Louisiana to help clean up after Hurricane Laura. The storm's damage toppled more than 50 trees around the Alexandria Zoo in Louisiana, damaging over 20 animal habitats in addition to countless fences, roofs, and trails. All of the staff and animals at the zoo were safe and uninjured. The 3-person Indy Zoo team joined others from across the nation helping remove fallen trees and cleaning debris.
On the other end of the country, Hurricane Sally is still a threat. The storm surge has lost some of its speed, but that can sometimes make for a worse landfall. And as ABC's Elwin Lopez reports, people in the south are still ready for anything.
Hurricane Sally taking her time, brewing offshore. As she inches closer to the Gulf Coast, in Florida, water levels already rising, partially submerging docks and piers, washing up roads. The slow-moving storm threatening parts of Louisiana, Alabama, and Mississippi. Low-lying areas bracing for up to 30 inches of rain and 7 feet of storm surge.
The most important thing right now is to stay inside. Because of the flooding, the flash flooding, you get cut off from where you're trying to go.
Forecasters warn we could see historic flooding across the region. In Louisiana, the city of New Orleans no longer under a hurricane warning. Officials say that doesn't mean they are out of the woods.
The mandatory evacuation, it remains in place, and we're just remaining prepared.
And in Mississippi, storm-weary locals say they will stay until they are forced to leave.
But I am concerned about it. I'll stay until I see the water gets bad, and then I'll go ahead and head out once it gets to that level.
We are expecting conditions to worsen here as Sally moves through. The big concern, flooding and life-threatening storm surge. Elwin Lopez, ABC News, Bay St. Louis, Mississippi.
And Hurricane Sally is, as they said, expected to make landfall tomorrow at 70 miles per hour with those winds. The good news is it is going to veer off to the right as soon as it makes landfall and weaken as it heads back out to the Atlantic, which means here we're not going to see much of an impact. The most we'll see is maybe a little bit of cloud coverage as we head over the next couple days as that continues to push up to the north. So that's what we're going to see by Wednesday and Thursday, just a little bit more cloud coverage. And then as you can see, it is going to veer off back into the Atlantic, just leaving us with mostly sunny skies for our Wednesday and then partly cloudy skies for our Thursday. Now, keep in mind, though, the National Hurricane Center is tracking several more systems out at the Atlantic right now. And of course, we'll keep an eye on those and let you know if they'll have any impact here in Indiana. Now, on the other side of the U.S., we have wildfires burning. That's having an impact on us, too. We are seeing those temperatures very nice today in the 70s, but we're seeing a little bit of a white haze outside instead of sunshine like you'd expect on a clear day here in Indianapolis. That is due to that smoke from those wildfires. That's going to be the main impact today and into tomorrow. Besides that, we are going to see mostly sunny skies. Overnight tonight, we'll continue to see clear skies. You can see that's what we have on our satellite and radar right now. What that will do is drop our temperatures off. So we're going to be in the 70s this evening, right around 7 o'clock, still seeing those sunny skies for the most part. And then we'll see sunset right around 7:53 tonight. Temperatures drop to the 60s by 9 p.m. By tomorrow morning, though, a little cooler. We're going to be in the 50s to start your Wednesday morning with mostly clear skies and those cooler temperatures. And this is just a preview of that cool air that we're going to see over the next couple days because we have a cold front that's going to sweep through next, and that's really going to drop our temperatures off. That's going to happen on Thursday. But tomorrow, it's going to warm up a little bit. 82 for our high, mostly sunny skies, a little bit of that smoky haze out there. And then here's our cold front. That's going to pass through Wednesday night and into Thursday. Not expecting precipitation from this. If we do see any, it will be very light and brief, but mostly we'll just see some cloud coverage, and that will actually help push out that smoke. So we'll see blue skies on Thursday mixed with those clouds. Behind that, much cooler air in the forecast. We're going to see those temperatures into the 40s overnight as we head through the weekend, and highs in the 60s one of the days in the forecast. 70s for most of them, though. So we are going to see a bit of a change, continuing to see that fall-like temperature towards the end of the forecast. Tomorrow is going to be our warmest day, 82 degrees for the high.
Thanks, Alyssa. Democracy 2020, many voters will cast ballots by mail for the first time this fall. At WRTV, we frequently discuss how this process will look for you amid cuts to the USPS and during a pandemic. We found out election offices are offering online services to let you track their mail-in ballot like a shipment. But how reliable is ballot tracking technology? Patrick Terpstra at our news gathering partner Newsy takes a closer look.
Thank you very much.
President Trump claims without evidence that if you vote by mail, it may not count.
Make sure you send the ballot in and then go to your polling place and make sure it counts. Make sure it counts.
But election offices can let you know for sure your completed mail-in ballot has been counted.
I want to know where my mail ballot is.
One way is through online ballot tracking. It lets people use their smartphone or computer to monitor the status of their vote, like a package. It can tell you when your ballot has been sent to you and after you fill it out and mail it back, when it's received and tabulated. Ballot tracking can also alert you about any problems with your mail-in vote, such as a missing signature. It's available in most states, but the features vary depending on location.
It's very reliable. The most complicated part is for a voter to look themselves up and become a subscriber.
Still, we found online ballot tracking occasionally has trouble.
Just wanted to know that my vote was counted.
Julie Birch says software in use in Detroit called Ballot Tracks never showed her absentee vote was received during the August primary.
I know dozens of people who are in the same situation that I am, where they are unable to verify that their vote was counted. I'm questioning now whether I want to vote absentee in the next election.
Detroit's Department of Elections told us the Ballot Tracks tool worked fine, but high turnout overwhelmed election workers trying to keep the system updated.
The Detroiters use our ballot tracks in largest numbers than we're ever used to. We're working with an IT company right now to revamp our ballot tracks.
Detroit is adding more people to run ballot tracks this November. The same software is in use in much of the country, more than 200 counties. Ballot Tracks is working with election clerks to make sure officials are equipped to keep the service accurate amid the expected crush of mail-in voters.
Nothing's perfect, especially with technology. This system is pretty well matured by now. We've built it in 2009. So we've run hundreds and hundreds of elections through it.
Interviews with voting officials and experts across the country showed widespread confidence in online ballot tracking.
This is a simple system that provides an excellent customer service and a great tool for voters to feel assured that their ballot was received and is counted.
They offer this advice for mail-in voters. Send in your ballot early with enough time to confirm it's cast, either by using online tracking or a phone call to your elections office.
Take a little bit of time to do those steps and make sure their ballot is counted.
Patrick Terpstra, Newsy, Washington.
It's a sign of the times. Almost everything is going to be a bit different in 2020, including what's open on Thanksgiving Day. In a move that's meant to allow associates to spend a day with family, Simon properties will all be closed on Thanksgiving. Simon leaders say in these challenging times, we made the decision that we will not be open that day. Local Simon properties include Castleton Square Mall, the Fashion Mall, and Circle Center.
It's said to be one of the finest examples of this famous architect's work out in the real world. How this Frank Lloyd Wright designed Indiana home is about to see some changes. That's coming up when the news at 5 continues on WRTV.
There's a rarity among famed architect Frank Lloyd Wright's works, and it lives right here in Indiana, and it's about to get a $1 million restoration. The National Park Service has awarded a $500,000 grant to support restoration efforts at Samara, the 64-year-old Frank Lloyd Wright designed home in West Lafayette. That grant is being matched by over $500,000 in private funds. The home has risen to prominence due to being one of the most complete, fully implemented of Wright's projects, with original landscape, graphic motif, and interior furnishings. The original owners were known for their collaboration with Wright, resulting in the ultimate display of his work.
A celebratory way to wrap up the summer on the east side of Indy today. The mayor joined local leaders to cut the ribbon on a newly renovated splash pad at Windsor Village Park. Having a spot to play like this can really make a difference for parks that already have a lot going on for the community. Leaders say this just ties the park even closer to its commitment to the neighborhood.
I thought about Windsor Village Park Family Center. That name says a whole lot. Windsor Village Park Family Center. And so we try to make the family the center of everything that we do here.
This is such a great residential park on the east side of Indianapolis. And it serves so many families and so many of our young people.
There are 19 splash pads across Indy parks, and they're all open until September 30th.
All new at 6 p.m. here on WRTV. As the towers go up, so do concerns over 5G. WRTV is working to get to the bottom of that issue.
And let's face it, companies are rolling out more and more streaming services these days, especially with so much time spent at home. We did the hard work for you. The streaming service is worth your time. Next on the news at 5:30 on WRTV.